One of the most important aspects of trading is choosing the right entry point. The right signals to pull the trigger on the target. And there are many methods for determining entry points based on the chart patterns, Japanese candlesticks, or technical indicators. In today's video, we will focus on the signals coming from the trading indicators. This list is not meant to be ranking, but rather a comprehensive list of easy entries you could add in your trading strategy. So let's get started. First signal, Heikei color change. The main advantage of Heikei is that the charts are much smoother looking, which helps to more easily identify the trend directions. Heikei charts are coded, so as long as the price is rising, then the bars will show up as green. As long as the price is falling, then the bars will show up as red. While classical candlesticks charts may flip-flop constantly from a green bar to a red bar, Heikei charts tend to have longer stretches of green and red bars, which provides more clear highlights and confirmations of current trends. So for the actual entry, pay attention to Heikei changing their color. And there are two simple aspects to keep in mind on Heikei chart. Bearish trends are created almost exclusively by bearish candles. Strong bearish trends tend to have no upper shadows in the candles. Bullish trends are created almost exclusively by bullish candles. Strong bullish trend tends to have no lower shadows in candles. Kumo cloud color change. Kumo cloud is likely the most notable elements of the Ishimoku systems, representing the space between two lines leading span A and the leading span B. Kumo cloud can be a really helpful indicator highlighting support and resistance areas in the trend directions. When a cloud changes its color, it enables traders to catch trading opportunities and spot entries and exit points. When leading span A is moving up above the leading span B, it helps confirm that the market is an uptrend. In this case, the space between the lines is usually colored green. When the leading span A is moving down below the leading span B, it may confirm a downtrend market movement. In this case, the space between the two lines is usually colored red. Traders also use Ishimoku cloud's color change to identify potential turning points, as they could also provide support and resistance levels that may be projected into the future. This is a great feature that sets Ishimoku apart from any other technical indicators. Third, Renko brings a change. Renko charts only measure price movements and have no time dimensions. The simplified boxes found in the Renko charts make it easier to read the market while removing market noise at the same time. The bricks are equal in size between. They all represent the same movement in price. When price moves up by a specific predetermined internal, green bricks is painted above the previous bricks, and when price moves down by that price interval, a red bricks is painted below the previous bricks. A bricks is only painted once the price movement has occurred, while the regular candles will always be painted after the certain period of the time has passed. That's the reason why Renko boxes offer better entries. They allow you to escape the time-bound framework you will be conditioned to trade within, and free you look for at your market on the different axes. So a Renko color switch represents an effective way to determine the start and of the price swings. MACD histogram colored slope change. The histogram included in the background of the MACD displays the difference between the MACD and the signal line. When the MACD is above the signal line, the bars are green and positive. When the MACD is below the signal line, the bars are red and negative. The actual height of the bars is the difference between the MACD and signals line itself. Using MACD histogram for signals can be made in several ways. In general, when the market's sentiment is turning, you first get a signal from the MACD histogram. When the original momentum starts to fade, the MACD line starts approaching signal line. MACD histogram reverse. So you could take your entries weeks on MACD histogram, changing its color for the green to red or vice versa. Another point of analysis would be pairs the MACD histogram as it moves away from the zero line, both positive or negative, and the track is as bars grows larger. The actual signals comes when the histogram no longer increase in height and produce on smaller bars. Once the histogram prints a smaller bar, trade swoops to enter the directions of the histogram decline. So in this case, you must pay attention to the MACD histogram swope, ADX crossover, the positive directional indicator DI, and the negative direction indicator DI of the ADX. Help traders decide whether to make the long or the short trade. A common way to take entries with the ADX indicator is by stopping directional index crossovers. The positive directional indicator green line crossing above the negative directional indicator red line suggests an uptrend and a possible long entry. The green line crossing below the red line suggests a downtrend and a possible short entry. This entry will offer a lot of false signals. That's why it's better to be used when applying large periods of the ADX, like the 50 periods, for example. 6. Hull MA slope change. The Hull moving average is the extremely fast and smooth moving average that puts ascent on the recent price over older ones. The Hull moving average can be used to identify the prevailing market trend and can be used as entry signal. So when you pay attention to its slopes and you identify a change in the directions, if the Hull MA is rising, the prevailing trend is rising, indicating it may be better to enter long positions. If the Hull MA is falling, the prevailing trend is also falling, indicator it may be better to enter short positions. Now, the change of slope of the Hull moving average indicator tells you to be ready to buy or sell. If the slope starts to point up, it indicates a possible long entry. If the slope starts to point down, it indicates a possible short entry. If you find a color called Hull moving average, it's even simpler. When the slope turns upwards, the Hull moving average change its color to green. When the slope turns downwards, the moving average becomes red. RSI 50 level crossover. RSI is very intelligent and smart indicator and offers a lot of useful information about market. The 50 level of the RSI indicator is the midline that separates the upper bullish and the lower bearish territories. In the uptrend, the RSI is usually above 50, while the downtrend is below 50. So instead of using the classic overbought or oversold method, you could use the relative strength index RSI indicator to look for the center line crossovers and movement from below the center line 50 and above the indicators rising trend. A rising center line crossovers occurs when the RSI value crossovers above the 50 lines on the scale moving towards the 70 line. This indicates the market trends to increase in strength and is seen as the bullish signal. A movement from above the center line 50 to below the indicators following trend. A following center line crossovers occurs when the RSI value crosses below the 50 line and the scale. moving towards the 30 line. This indicates the market trend is weakening in strength and is seen as the bearish signals. 8 stochastic crossover. A stochastic crossover occurs when the fast K line intersects the slow stochastics D line, because the K line reacts more quickly to market change. It oscillates at the faster rate than the D line when the K stochastic crossovers over the moves above the D stochastics. This is considered buy signals. A sell signals is the result of the key crossing under the D. As an additional tip, make sure you use this entry method when you apply longer periods of the stochastics to eliminate apart false signals. As an alternative, you could also pay close attention to the 51 crossovers that occurs when the key stochastic crosses the 50 lines in the scales, which seems as a movement toward the stronger positions and read as the buy signals. When the key line cross lines under the 50 levels, this price considered to be a weakness and represents a possible sell signals. Scalp trend cycle (STS). 25 and 75 crossovers. If you want to add the cycle components to your entry, 10 scalp trend cycle indicates is a great alternative. The best way to understand the reading of this indicator is to take two their holds into account. You have one at 25 and other at 75, whatever the indicator surpasses the 25 lines. That's indicator the observation of the uptrend. When the indicator crosses below the 75 line, a downtrend is likely being present. When the indicator falls between the 25 and the 75 lines, that means that the trend is developing specifically in one of the two directions. So when the indicator rises above the 25 lines, the trend is taking a possible turn, and you could consider opening and long positions. When the indicator falls below 75, consider opening a short position. 10 parabolic SRR. Don't change on our chart. The parabolic SRR is visualized as the squeeze of dots next to the price bar. Dots are located below the price during the bullish trend, while during the bearish trend they appear above it. Parabolic SRS buying signals are generated when the dots are located below the price. So if the dots are above the price and flip below it, it means that you could expect a potential change in the price's directions. The sell signals are generated when the dots are located above the price bar. To capture the momentum and maximize your returns, take sure to keep an eye on the movement the dots flips. As soon as the indicators switch to positions above the price, consider the indications of the change is trend and possible sell positions. The indicators can be used on all time frames, and for the most part they have variables that can be adjusted to suit your specific preferences. Remember that experienced traders never enter the market just because the indicators are signaling a buy or a sell positions. The main rules of the effective trading is to enter the only at certain point based on support and resistance levels, price actions, chart patterns, and many other factors. As always, if you want something new and found value, we would like to show your support, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to stay notified when we release new video. Until next time.